for anyone listening who's not familiar with the Jake Barber video, so Jake Barber is an Air Force veteran. He claims to work for a classified crash retrieval program. He's a whistleblower, and he did an interview. He's done multiple interviews about the egg UFO to this point, but the big one was with Ross Coldhart, where Jake Barber's describing his experience retrieving an egg-shaped UFO he believes of non-human origin, and he was a helicopter pilot for this classified UFO retrieval program. So that is, and if I'm missing anything, feel free to
No, that sounds
fill in.
Is it your feeling? Are you suddenly having a mental breakdown on the job?
No, I felt like something connected with me. I felt like something had tuned in to me and my soul and was providing me some sense of guidance on what to do and how profound what I was doing was. And it was so overwhelming that I began to cry. And then I'm confused as to why I'm crying at the same time. And then do I abort the mission? So I just did my best to focus on my particular cues when doing this type of work, and I got the load hooked up and I began flying away. And once it was just me and that object in between the pick and the drop site, there's about 20 miles in between, I felt like something was inside of me. I felt like I was possessed by the most beautiful spirit I'd ever been possessed by. And
Was it loving?
it was loving. But there was a sense of sadness at the same time. And
Had you ever had an experience like this before?
no, it was a very feminine energy, I'll tell you that. It felt like the spirit of God, but not in any masculine sense. And it wasn't like a soul, it was like a frequency that I was connected with. And whatever that force was since that night, it has stayed with me. And as crazy as this sounds, it's what's guiding me now. And it's what's providing protection for me.
It's changed your life.
It's changed my life.
So I don't play that video to make fun of what Jake Barber is saying at all. It's like I genuinely believe that he believes that he had a spiritual connection with this egg that he retrieved, and continues to have it to this day. And when I first saw the video, I was I really didn't know what to think in the moment. I was like, this is pretty strange, and uh I don't really know what to make of it. But then I started to think about experiences that I've had in the past, like with like panic attacks. Like if anyone has ever had like an anxiety attack or a panic attack, you throw that in with PTSD from, being in active combat, like maybe he was having like a full blown PTSD attack where like you could feel something has overtaken you, and like you confuse the sensations running through your body with a spiritual connection. Or maybe there is some sort of chemical exposure from the object or the plane. I don't know, but it seems like there are other explanations that could feed into what was going on with what Jake Barber describes. And I think it's sad that he's he's making his own decisions too, but like he's being pushed into it, like basically being like this spiritual type figure by the community to
Yeah.
tell it almost like a prophet.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. He seems to believe it. He's very heartfelt in his description, so he believed that it actually happened, and maybe it did. He experienced some kind of mental encounter with something, which could be just his own brain. These are the types of religious experiences that people have been describing for all time, since recorded history. This type of euphoria, a rapture euphoria, this kind of transcendent love and communion with some kind of supernatural being, with God or with the Virgin Mary or whoever, is something that has been described for a long time. So, could it be that that actually is something that exists? It's possible, but it's something that we can't test and we can't prove, and we have no evidence beyond these stories. Could it be something that's just a natural consequence of the brain when you get a certain type of dopamine release, or your brain goes in a certain direction? That's also possible too, because we know that there are lots of things that the brain does that are very consistent. People have similar experiences when they have a near-death experience. People have similar experiences on certain types of drugs, like hallucinogenics. You get the same types of images in your brain. It's probably not, you viewing the substrate of the universe is probably just something to do with the way our brains are structured.
Hmm.
There are things called forms similar, where some people taking drugs will see certain patterns which kind of reflect the kind of the neural structure of the optical system. But people see the same thing because people have the same types of brains, and people are similar. So I think, unfortunately, for them, it seems real. And for other people who have had similar experiences, it seems real. And for their loved ones and friends who want to trust this person and believe this person, it seems real that this person had this experience. And so we're kind of stuck with this a religion in a way, based on the faith in other people's experiences rather than actual evidence.
Yeah.
We've got a video of an egg being picked up by a helicopter. That didn't come from him. Supposedly it came anonymously from someone else. We have no idea, what it actually shows really. It could be a little fake of something small, or it could be CGI, or it could be some, radar dome being picked up at some point. We don't know what it actually shows.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he didn't have video of his encounter. You can't say video of something that's going on inside your head, and the rapture from some angelic presence. And now he says he has this feminine energy with him always, which
Yeah.
again is something that you can't prove, and it just sounds like something that's more in his mind than in reality.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is a different experience that I'll describe because presumably Jake Barber was not asleep when he was piloting this helicopter, but I've had a single sleep paralysis episode in my life where I thought I was being attacked by a pack of wolves. Like wolves are like flooding into my apartment and literally nipping at my flesh, and I was like trying to do anything to move to like take these wolves off of me, and as soon as I moved, like, they just sort of, like, disappeared into the mist of the,
Yeah,
half dream, half awake phase, and if, like, there was a carton of eggs on the counter and instead of wolves, it was like a angel rising from this, giant egg that I was perceiving, like, maybe I would think I had a spiritual connection to, like, this egg-like object. I don't know, but, like, it
yeah.
it seems very real when these things are happening.
It does, and and so it's understandable that the people themselves would be convinced that something was happening. But for everybody else, we really have to look at the pattern that's going on here. That we've got all these amazing accounts of things, but we don't have video evidence of them, and we
Yeah.
should have video evidence of them if they were happening.
When it comes to the psionic aspect with the what Jake Barber's describing with telepathic downloads, these
Yeah.
godlike feelings of oneness, do you think we're watching the birth of UFO mini cults in a way, like where people are gonna arise as these spiritual figures?
Yeah. I mean, this it's happened before many times. The Heaven's Gate thing was the prime example. That was a UFO cult that eventually ended in mass suicide. But for I think a couple of decades before that, it was just a UFO cult, and a fairly ordinary thing, just people doing their normal culty things. And there's always cults. There's always new cults coming along, and you see TV series about the fallout. Where there's probably existing cults right now where people are in cults, and I'm sure UFOs as well. And to some degree, I think some of the organizations that we see, have aspects of cults. You're not really, full blown, like, someone controlling everything type things. But the Soul Foundation, to a degree, has kind of cultish aspects. It's very insular. It's like kind of an exclusive club. You can pay thousands of dollars to go to lunches with the gurus of ufology. It's a little bit culty because it's not really based on good evidence. You ask Carl Nell, who's one of the people from the Soul Foundation, what is the evidence? And it's circular. He says, well, the evidence is that we're having hearings in Congress because of all the good evidence. And
Yeah.
there was a guy in the last hearing that we just had. It was I can't remember his name. It was the guy. He was talking about the video, the red triangle video, I think, or the red square video over Vandenberg base, and he was asked, "What's the best bit of evidence?" And then he said, "Oh, this is evidence." And then he said, "There is no evidence." And then he said, "Oh, the video we just saw, that's evidence."
My name is Jeffrey Nusatelli. I'm a former military police officer with 16 years of active duty service in the U.S. Air Force. The incursions began on October 14th, 2003, when Boeing contractors reported a massive glowing red square silently hovering over 2 missile defense sites. After several minutes, it drifted further east onto the base and vanished over the hills.
But the video we just saw really wasn't evidence. It wasn't very good evidence at all. So the evidence isn't there, but people think it is, and this is why you get cults. You get cults based on things that aren't actually real, but people believe them to be real.
Yeah. And when people identify as part of a cult, when you attack the cult leader, those people take it as a personal attack.
Yeah.
And you can see this online with, like, if you say anything about like a David Grush or Bob Lazar or now Jake Barber, like people that have never met these figures in the UFO community will come out and essentially like put their reputation on the line and say, I'm going to defend this to the very end. There's no way this person could possibly be deceiving me. Like they're fully bought in to the idea, like not just the evidence or lack of evidence that's being presented, but like the idea of the person as a figure to follow.
Yeah, very much so. It's a cult of personality, and the people who believe these things, they may have had some experience themselves, and that's why they believe, and so they feel that the leaders are validating their experience. They think Elizondo is validating their experience, so people attacking the Elizondo must be attacking their experience. Which I'm not. I don't really go around attacking Elizondo. I point out the things that he gets wrong.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have realized now that he's got a pattern of doing things that are wrong. But yeah, like just because I critique somebody, it doesn't mean I'm invalidating everything else in the world. There's a thing I say on Twitter, which is one thing is not all things. It's my stock response whenever somebody says, "Well, what about this?" Because I'll say, "Well, look at this red thing going through the sky. It looks like a balloon. You can see the string." And they'll say, "Well, what about David Fravor?" And it's just ridiculous how they immediately jump to the assumption that I'm saying that, I've solved this one trivial UFO case, therefore all UFOs are nonsense. I mean, I'm not attacking people in general. I'm looking at individual cases, and the individual cases don't stack up. That doesn't mean there isn't something out there.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, there's a lot more waiting for you. Join the Zach Show 2.0 to unlock the full video and audio version of this episode, plus bonus content you won't find anywhere else. Exclusive AMAs, the entire back catalog of premium episodes, and the ability to submit topics and questions for future shows. Subscribe today at thezachshow.supercast.com. I'll see you there.